Maiders Rothfire, Marzu the leader, Paolani the outside, on Trivier coming home late as well, but Marzu's in front from Paolani, Marzu's won the 10,000.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. I'm joined in studio with John Walter. In his part-time he collects trading cards, and in his spare time he tin pen bowls with serial killers. John, you've had a shave? You're looking fresh.
I had a shave just because I read your rundown. It said I hadn't had a shave, so I had to have the shave just to put your thing wrong. I've got to play the part of DK today, so I'm going to be as grumpy as possible. I'm going to talk about massages, and I'm going to I refuse to talk about any race that's not a mate.
Nico, you're the Lone Ranger in Melbourne. Have you thawed out from Ballarat yesterday?
Not quite. Yeah, Lone Ranger in Melbourne here with no DK, but Ballarat was absolutely freezing cold yesterday. We backed one winner, which helped, but looking forward to Saturday at Flemington to hopefully redeem ourselves there.
$25 for Nico's Mounting Yard Mail, so you don't have to go to the freezing cold of Ballarat or all through winter racing. So Wednesdays and Saturdays, nice little plug there. DK, he's on daddy daycare. A little bit of influenzas going through the Kelly household at the moment. It's not the spicy cough. I think they've already had that, some of those, the Kelly clan, but that's what's happening at DK's land, so he'll be betting, but looking after the kids as well. I thought Eagle Farm did really well to keep racing. It was genuine rain, and I think it's been a really good week of sun on the Gold Coast, and I think Doomben should be okay this week.
You reckon? I don't know. It's about the hose outside, mate. No, they've just had so much rain. It's just so hard to bloody work out how these different tracks. Eagle Farm's the only one that seems to, it doesn't matter. Like they get 100 mil and they get 100 mil and pour irrigation on it the next day. So hopefully it holds up.
And fingers crossed it doesn't make a cow paddock of it for the rest of the winter carnival. It'd be a nightmare if it's chopped up and ruined for the rest of it, because they've had some bad luck. But Marzu, he keeps on winning, makes his own luck. I thought Palelli was going to go straight past him there for a minute, and then it just found the saucer of milk and just lapped it right up, didn't it?
It sort of showed the difference in their constitution, didn't it? Like that was his chance in life. He sat that extra sort of length and a half off the fast speed, whereas Marzu, and he was sort of off the bit, Marzu before Palelli, and he wouldn't have gone past him in another lap. So he definitely proven himself, and those geniuses who locked him in for the Everest the week before, I don't know why, but they've at least... they're probably slapping themselves on the back a bit, and he's still got to come up another level to get to Nature Strip and those horses if they hold their form, but he's certainly on the up.
What do you think of the meeting at Eagle Farm, Nico? There'll be a couple of runs that you'll take out of it, but it's hard to sort of trust the form, isn't it, with some of the margins and the conditions of the racing?
Yeah, I suppose it's just like what we saw in Sydney, sort of over the carnival there. It's just going to be big form reversals out of that meeting. Horses back in the field, especially that 2-year-old race, looked like nothing could make ground there. Marzu probably got in the right spot. Yeah, with Wald, he probably has to come up a few grades to, get to Nature Strip and that, but he's probably the best of the B grade at the moment. I think he showed that there on Saturday, and I know I've kind of always one that sort of potted him through saying he's got everything easy, but he actually showed something there on Saturday for mine, so I'm probably not going to be potting him all through next prep, but it just depends what he sort of comes up against, in the shorts and those lead-up races to the Everest. I think off Saturday, he probably sold himself deserving of a slot. You probably wouldn't put him in the top 5 or 6, but there's 12 runners, I think, so someone's going to make up the numbers.
He'd be probably under $10 at the moment. That's a bit silly.
I don't know.
I'm assuming.
You wouldn't bother looking at the market for quite some time. Ollie on Allegron, buried the fence. Elation was a classic example of being coffined, and then he needed to have a serious advantage over that field to come out and win. He only won by 2 lengths, I would have thought, but Allegron was sort of held up, and then you had horses like Jungle Magnate, and I thought the ride on Detonator Jack was average. Johnny Allen, it was a bit of a nothing ride. What do you think, Nico?
I thought you rode pretty well, given the circumstances. I thought that just the way the race shape sort of panned out, those 2 things out in front just went absolutely ballistic and then stopped, and then it just left a few roadblocks for him to sort of get around. He sort of worked through the traffic well enough. I thought Detonator Jack had his chance to win. I just think he's probably not as seasoned as a few of the other horses in the field. Is this going to continue on from last winter, the bagging of Ollie Scoot? I thought the ride, there wasn't much he could do from barrier number 1. I know there was a few people sort of crucifying on social media, but I don't know what he actually could have done.
I'm happy to take him on at the price in the market, horse dropping back in distance, and we saw it with Elation. If you've buried the fence, and Ollie loves to go back into that coffin position time and time again.
Mate, he's sort of he's always the hero or the villain, Ollie, and there's nothing much in between. And the sort of longer it goes on, it's a bit like that. But I hate Gap Barrier 1. There's not many riders who, he's been around a long time. He's probably ridden a million good races from one, but it's out of your hands a lot of the time. It's not easy.
Huey Bowman goes all right from
the best
inside draws.
Seen, the best. Yeah, he's the best. He doesn't worry about getting him that pair closer. I think that's probably the key, and he's patient because they do save energy from there, so they can usually do something. And more often than not, he takes the right, decision, makes the right decision.
I thought Mark Zara was off and gone and made Jay Allen look pretty average, but I guess that's just one opinion, and everyone's entitled to their own. I guess, Nico, you nailed Jigsaw. The drama to Swalt. It was off the map, but went like a busted.
Yeah, by race time, it was like 250 or something scratchings, and the way the sort of track looks. So I actually backed 3 to beat it, and I think they ran second, third, and fourth. So it was a good effort, good effort all around. And the mighty Step Lee, who's been missing for about 12 months, steams through the middle and jams everyone. But that was one of the worst rides of the carnival and the dramatist. That kid's one of the hardest to catch I've seen. He's about 2 out of 10 are really good, and the other 8 are diabolical. But he's a hard one to step into at the moment. Reese
Jones, and then a trainer like Rod Northam. Just the lesser like trainers. How do you explain those sort of flops? What do you think? What do you put it down to?
He said he pulled off a plunge in race 1. Well, not a plunge, but he pulled off. He dead set gave a horse a little clean out there about 10 days before in a 1,000-metre race at Moree or Gunnedah or somewhere, and it showed up in that first race straight to 1,300 and went like a rocket. And as it showed that the inside was probably not placed to be, so he had it spot on for the carnival, and maybe the dramatist, was a little bit more of an afterthought. I think most of those trainers set their horses for these meetings, and some of these races
it's come a bit strong.
Yeah, well, they're just really appealing. So even if they're not going well at the top, okay, well we'll have a crack at that race with it. And maybe he's just maybe needs a break or something because he went too good to be true at Tamworth the start before, and even though he got an ordinary ride Saturday, he wasn't the same horse.
Too bad to be true. Something that's too good to be true is Manscaped. The Weed Whacker is what I travel with. It fits nicely in the male toiletry bag and the lawnmower, so you can take it travelling. So if you haven't got time to shave pre-holiday, you can take it on the holiday vault, and you can just shave down in the bath.
You go on holidays, do you?
I'm going to go on a holiday.
Right.
Yep.
What date does Nico have to get up to before he goes on a holiday?
Nico?
Very, very deep in, I'd imagine.
Good investment, I say, Nico. It's going to be a great show today. Tommy Turbo, he's a bit off the boil. He's fishing outside the market. He might need to start fishing deeper in the market, sort of a bit more of the mugs strategy. So I'm excited just to see his temperament today, how relaxed he is.
I'm more interested to see what he's dressed in.
He's
whether he's looking out the window today doing like David Hasselhoff, or is he, it's going to be interesting to see his manners. He's definitely changing week to week.
I had the fright of my life when Muggs Morrill loomed up Outlook, and I think it just looked like it was going to run straight past him and just peaked on its run. It was impressive for a man who doesn't like the provincial circuit. It's Rosehill this week, and I tell you what, he must be in the slippers. He's phoned in sick, and we've just got a bit of a message on screen now from the Mug Punter. I've got some bad news. No Mug Morrill. I have bad case of flu with a little sick emoji, but I will be big and better next week. Can you apologise to all my fans? So, Mug Punter, I don't think he's got the spicy cough, but he's got the flu.
What? I didn't think anything could keep that man down. It's got to be like, if I was the Australian government, I'd be worried that something worse than corona's out there, because for him to be, not be able to trawl through the 475 horses at Rosehill this Saturday, he must be death's door. I'd be rigging the Royal Prince of Alfred's or someone and sending someone around to the Mug's house. He must be cooked.
We're going to do Scooty's moral. I'm going to be the super sub.
Why didn't you do this? I would have loved to go head to head with you. You couldn't find a winner in a one-horse race.
I know. I'm going to have a crack at it.
Mug's the least competition. Like, he's given me your schooling. But,
pushed him to the side. I found my opportunity. I wanted in the know with snow back. I was trying to get Snowy back, but we ran out of time.
Which snow?
Snowy Hoffies, mate.
Oh, not the snow we're not allowed to talk about. Oh, what a game.
You're gonna tip in a race. I've put 2 races down, so I've got a surprise race for you.
Because
your homework came in late.
Disclaimers with this meeting. Holy heck, it's tough.
And you shaved the goatee.
Yeah, it took me. I had a battery and a half to get rid of it. The old the what's another one? The lawnmower or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Any bowling competitions this week, Walt?
So I'll be there tonight, mate. I'll be there tonight.
You can stream
Thursday
it.
night,
I've had a late invite to a lunch, and I'm trying to weigh up whether it'll affect my bowling more than anything. That's probably what's going to come into it.
If anyone in the Racing Watch chat has got the link for the bowling tonight, I'll tweet it off the Little Birdie TV account so everyone can watch Walt 10-pin bowl tonight. So there's a challenge for the Racing Watch community. But first up, we're going to have a look at Flemington back to headquarters with Nico. I'll tell you what, Ballarat to Flemington's a pretty good change up there. Make sure you're betting with TopSport this weekend. There's Group 1 races. We've got the Goodwood, and they're the biggest betting bookie in Australia, so make sure you take them on. Nico, the first race that we're going to have a look at here is race 6 at Flemington on Saturday, and it is the PDF Foods Services Plate, and it's an 1,800-metre race, and you found one here that was a last start second, I think, at Sale, but coolest favourite from the McAvoy Yard at 360, in from 440. La Chevrolet is 460, Bosawa is $5. Worthily is $5.50, in from 7 and 5. Kingdom $9.50. Canaan. I'd almost forgotten about that horse. $10. That's just one from the Bolt from the Blue. I think they probably should have sold it in to Hong Kong in hindsight, but that's easy to say. Welsh Legend $13, and El Gladiator is $17. Nico, the last start replay you're going to have a look at here is Worthily from the Mar Eustace camp in the Australian Bloodstock colours.
Yeah, he kind of travels into this wide on the track. He's beaten by one bet on this day, Uncle Britain, who sort of went to Melbourne and started hard in the market next start and probably didn't run up to this performance, but this was Worthily sort of first up from a little bit of a break at 1,700 metres, so you'd think he'd take some benefit out of this run. This was a pretty strong race. I think it was called the Up-and-Comers or something like that, sort of 4-year-olds who didn't have like high ratings, but obviously talented enough gallopers. He came back sort of last prep and won a race at Caulfield. He actually pulled up lame after winning the race, and I just think with the natural improvement he may take this prep, sort of having that preparation under his belt, coming back this prep, a little bit of a freshen up. The first up run I thought was solid enough. Gets to 1,800 metres here, drops in the weight, gets Ethan Brown, probably just sort of stalks midfield and presents him at the right time. He sort of strikes me as a Flemington horse. I think that's where he'll do some of his best racing. He may be looking for 2,000. That'd be my small knock, but it's the right camp, Mar Eustace. They seem to get it right, even second up off the 34 or 36 or 7 days it will be come Saturday. I wouldn't be too worried about that. They seem to get that right more often than not. So, look, he was a horse I thought you could probably have something on it, sort of $5.50, $6. Coulth was very unlucky the other day, but I don't know. Like, he probably should have gone close to winning. I think he's been marked like that in the market, though. Like, he ran 4th in a pretty average race. I think this race is much stronger, and he didn't win it. So, look, I can see the angles to if you wanted to find him, but it's sort of 360 lead me out. Le Chevrolet is just a real wet tracker. I think Worthily might have a bit more upside than a horse like her, and then you're sort of looking at Basawa, who's been up a long time. So I think he's a horse that sort of hits the race with the most upside. You get the right camp, sort of 550. I thought it was worth having a bet on a real tricky day at Flemington. I thought 550 was probably a bit of overs.
Interesting. 1,800, just looking at his action and the way he finished off there, that's probably the query for mine.
Yeah, I think they probably might be looking for 2,000, but he won over 1,800 2 starts ago. So I'm sort of more backing in the potential of his class here more than anything else in getting to Flemington. It's a tough day. He's probably like my best bet on the card, but it's not overly confident, to be honest.
Can we just rewind about 27 seconds when Nick talked about its action and that you're worried about its action?
He might need.
Can you tell me about what you're worried about with its action? Can you educate the punters out there?
He might need further.
What about his action tells you that?
Oh, it just looks like he wants more ground.
That he was going up and down in the one spot, or is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out where
What about his breeding?
What about his breeding?
I've got no idea what his breeding is.
Can we get Mug on the line to talk about its setup?
Well, he's probably sets up okay.
He sets up okay.
He sets up okay.
God,
I think he'd probably want further by the look of that, just to my eye, but I'm not sure. Like, I look through his form and I see he's gone out to 2,400, so maybe, Nico said he's probably 2,000 metres, and I think he might want even further than that. I just didn't like the look of that.
Reading between the lines, you're calling it a 3-hump camel.
Eh?
You're calling it a 3-hump camel.
Might be, I don't know.
You don't know what you're saying. Fair enough.
No, but...
No, I get it.
I think Basara's the horse that I'd like to be on. I don't like. I've spent 1 minute on the race, but a horse like Basara sort of scares the life out of me against a horse that looks like he wants further. I like the 1,600-metre horse versus this 1,800-metre horse that may want even further.
I could feel that he was going against you there, but he didn't want to, come out public. I was just, I just wanted, you had an opinion. You were too scared to, you covered it up with an action call.
It just looks like he's choppy and wants further, and it's going to take a long time for him to
I'll
sort
go
of wind
head-to-head
up.
with Scoot.
Yeah,
Nick,
here we
my
go.
tip v Scoot's moral. We'll go head-to-head.
All right, we'll do that. I'll take. You haven't even seen my moral
Can we
yet,
put
so
it
you
back
don't
on
know
the
what it's up
back of the
against.
toilet door? Is that all right? Where we put up the head-to-heads?
Okay, we'll do that, Nico. And mine's slightly shorter than yours, and I'll share you your next date. So you just send me the invoice of wherever you take the missus to mini golf or
She just got
for
an
dinner.
upgrade.
You just take it wherever. It's $500
drive-ins.
limit. Don't just take it to Rockpool and just start ordering the absolute Mickey Mouse. But I'll cap it at 500. You take it anywhere you like and send me in the bill. That's if your horse wins and mine doesn't. So I reckon that's a
Do we
pretty
get
good
the
deal.
same deal and I get to take the kids to time zone or something?
I'll
Like,
keep
what's
asking you
going-
out for dinner.
Let's
You
go.
like you don't want to come.
Well, he doesn't have to put up with you when he goes out. Why do I have to put up with you?
Oh dear.
Next.
All right.
That's fair.
I
That's
hope
fair.
the horse is looking for further for my sake. And now my wallet. The straight 6 Flemington race 7 is the next one here, and Front Page is a favourite here. We remember this horse from the Bulldozer Stream, Walkertown Plate, $3.30 Front Page. It's good to see the horse back. It's got some great connections, some Riverina lads in this one. It's Our Time, $3.70, Ranting $9, Curran $10. This is the money horse, Curran. Regards Marie, $16, Romance at $20, Serious Suspect $20, Blaze Jowski $26, Crestani $26. I'm not sure what weight the astrologist would have carried in this race, but I'm surprised it's not here. And I was really surprised to see it in the Goodwood. But the replay we're going to have a look at here is Romance, the first up, Nico, behind Extreme Warrior.
Yeah, I think he actually won this race last year, Romancer, at a long price. This is one of the key lead-ups. A few of the horses come through this. Curran, Romancer, It's Our Time, who's pretty much equal favourite. Romancer's in the OTI there, just in behind him. He doesn't get a whole heap of luck. I do admit he probably could have been a bit better to the line, but he's just deadly down the straight. Like most of his straight track form, you touched on the astrologist, he nearly beat him last prep down the straight. He won this race last prep down the straight. I think that's just where he finds his best, and he gets to 1,200 metres. He's only sort of a length off It's Our Time and Curran there, who, are well respected in this race, and he's kind of at 20s. I think you'd probably get 30 or 40s on the day. I thought he was just a horse you could definitely have something on. He'll give you a big run for your money here. Draws the right part of the track, barrier number 12. Probably come down the middle. Graham Begg has probably set him for a race like this, given they won it last year. So I think there's a few things in his favour to say you could definitely throw him in some exotics or have something on him at, say, 20s, maybe 1x3, something like that. Curran was probably the other horse I had a good look at out of that replay. I thought he was really good. This looks like a really good setup for him. The barrier 2 is probably the negative with him. I would have loved if he had it drawn out. I'd be happy enough to take on It's Our Time. Like he didn't have everything go his way there, and then he's come out of that race since and ran at Caulfield where he got a long way back in a slow run race. But I think the market's just overrating him at the moment at sort of 370. Scooty's horse Front Page, this might be his moral, I don't know, but he's always been a horse with a lot of talent Front Page. He had a big win here down the straight, sort of going back a while, and the wheels sort of fell off. Looks like the wheels are back in motion with that horse. He's always sort of struck me as a horse, seeing him in the yard, that had enough ability. He just had to put a few things, in order to make himself progress to that next level. And off that first up win, he might have done that, just sort of strengthening up, and mentally he could have taken those steps he needed to. Look, I wouldn't knock anyone wanting to back him at sort of 330. On the day, I'll probably be looking to find him out of the yard and potentially back him. But at the moment, Romancer, I think's a solid enough each way sort of bet, maybe like 1x3 the place. Chuck him in your exotics and your quaddie, definitely. But
Run me through Lewis German.
Scary, but I think he's always
he knows
ridden
the horse.
Yeah, I see he's one on it down the
Yeah,
straight there.
mm.
That's the tick.
Yeah, okay.
There's some scary loyalty getting around.
Jeez, it
at
had
the
a good
moment.
run the other day. Like it had to win. It went like a jet, but it had to win.
Mm.
It's yeah. Anyway,
It'd be interesting to see what happens with the price of this horse, because from memory, I think it's one down the straight and it's posted some really big figures. So I'd assume that the syndicates keep it relatively short, and I'd be interested to see what happens and what Nico thinks of this horse in the yard. But
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. Like that Fury won that day down the straight, relative to the class on punting form was quite strong, and sort of on the all benchmark was really strong, 12 lengths above. And then the first up run, he's out of a fast run race, and he's kind of done it at both ends. Like, he's sprinted home well as well. So, like, relative to the class there on punting form, which is what Open sort of graded, he's rated 12 lengths above. So, don't know how much you trust the Wagga figures. Like, maybe you have to sort of take that in, but I think the market will have a really good look at him, and I think he'll start clear favourite over It's Our Time. So, could be a horse you could look to back. There's probably a few knocks there with the jockey and the connections, but he's a jet, this horse. So, I'm kind of warming to him. I am kind of warming to him. I do want to see him parade, but at this stage, Romance is a bet for me.
I'd be happy to play Romancer in front page and then be done with the race. I think you've read it really well there, Nico. Outstanding. As I said before, if you want all of Nico's stuff, the Manning Yard Mail via Telegram, it's $25. It's Wednesdays and Saturdays for the Melbourne Metro stuff, and we absolutely love it here. You can definitely find a favourite that you can get up and lay if they don't parade well, and they've got a couple of chinks in their form. But let's have a quick look at Adelaide. The Group 1 Goodwood is next one we're going to have a look at here. No Bagman. And
What?
No Hilton.
Where is he?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's doing a bit of stuff for Ladbrokes.
Are you serious?
Poached.
Which one? Both? Bagman or Kelton?
Just Bagman.
Why is he still in the group?
Hey?
Get him out.
You want to bar him?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't do that. I don't think it's all over.
We could at least mute him.
So he can't say anything.
Yeah.
You can look, but you can't touch.
You can't touch, yeah.
The Goodwood, Group 1.
Can I did say it was the worst derby I've ever seen. Can I back it up?
Wouldn't say it's the worst Goodwood.
What is this? Like, you were saying the astrologist shouldn't be running.
It's $10.
It's the greatest. Yeah, it's $10.
It's in the market. Oh, Extreme Warrior, J Carr, $6 in the boat, $8. Behemoth, the big boy, $8.50. The Inferno, $9.50. The Astrologist, $10. General Bow, $12. Bella Nipotina, $16. Lombardo, $17. Sabato XL is $17. Regards Marie, $21. Frankie Pino, won the Wangoom, $26. Halvorsen and Asar, around the 30-1 mark with Instant Celebrity, Free Adet. I'm going to read them because this has got a tail, this race. And I tell you what, the last start in the Mackay Stakes, that 1,100-metre race, was the biggest barrier trial I've ever seen. So there was Free Adet there, $41. Ironclad, $41. Not an option, $41. Bo Ross, $61. And Outlaws Revenge, $71. I'll kick us off here with Morphettville. Extreme Warrior, I didn't think it was a bad win last start. Same with In the Boat. I guess they're going to make their own luck further up in front. I thought Behemoth was our big lay last time. It was $3.60 out to nearly, $6 or $7. I think we got that one right. I had really liked the run from it. It just wasn't there to win. It was absolute barrier trial for that horse. I think it finished off okay. It was carrying 62 kilos that day. Kayla Sticks. And the Inferno was another good closer, sort of around the $9.50 mark. Horse I didn't mind at massive odds here was Outlaws Revenge. I think Jay Holder takes over from Will Price, and at about 70 or 80 to 1, Ryan Belfer. Barrier 9, I think they might just have, if they've got different tactics this time and this horse goes forward instead of getting snagged back. He was completely snagged back and snicked last start. And I think if they go forward, Outlaws Revenge, I've seen, I just think he's crazy odds at 80, 70 to 1 and $11 the place.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a look at this race, and I thought the lead-up races are they're sort of tricky to work out. Like, you've got sort of the Tobin Bronze, the Mackay, or the Mackay Stakes, and then a few like the DF with, In the Boat and sort of Extreme Warrior coming over. The tricky thing with the Adelaide lead-up races is they've all been very slowly run, and I wouldn't imagine this Goodwood's going to be slowly run within the boat, having to come across from 20. Extreme Warrior will be pushing up. Like, they're just... Lombardo's probably going to push forward as well. They're never really that slowly run, like a race like this where all of the horses get in under the minimum and want to have a good chance at winning. So, looking at the race, I think the way this track could potentially play, the back markers last week kind of came into play. I think this track could definitely suit that. And they were the horses I was kind of looking at. I was kind of thinking Behemoth and the Inferno were two that look like off their last starts are really going to appreciate 1,200 metres and potentially a faster tempo. The Inferno is probably the horse I'm the keenest to back. I think he's got the most ability in the race. They've had a bit of a interrupted preparation. Get that out, but now he's sort of got it all going, and the wheels are back on the road. There, it looks like. I thought his last start run was very good. I think he'll suit this race. Barrier 3 isn't ideal. You're just going to need a lot of luck from there. So I think double figures is probably the right price, but I'm happy enough to have a go at that odds. Behemoth was good last start. And there's a horse down the bottom of the weights. He's just crying out for a fast run race. He's getting too far back in these slowly run races and it's hurting him. It's Manhattan Times, Jess Eaton, 52 kilos. Like 3 starts ago, he starts 290 against Ironclad, who started pretty much favourite in the lead up. And then his last 2, he's just been in like so slowly run races. Like to the 600 last day, he's going 16.6 lengths below. How he's ever supposed to win a race like that from the position he's in. He drops 5.5 kilos in the weights. I think this horse has shown he has a massive engine, big turn of foot. Like the turn of foot he's shown in his last 2, I think he's got borderline Group 1 closing speed. He's been 50s in already, 26. I think he's sort of like the setup horse that could just jump out of the ground here. So I'll be having something on him at a long price, the Inferno, and I'll probably back Behemoth. I think Extreme Warrior is very chinky. If what I saw in the yard first up, he was cranked up, like ready to go. They couldn't have got him much fitter for that. That was like D-Day, and he only just beat, sort of the horses we were looking at that are going to run in the straight 6. So, look, $6 for mine. I thought he was short enough, and I thought you could take him on. I'd be more looking for double figures if I was looking to back him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think that's the scary part with the Inferno. And buried the fence, I can see it having major traffic issues.
Yep.
And Behemoth, I'm sure they'll just try and camp in behind the hot speed. I don't think they'll drag it right back next time. But I do like the look of Manhattan Times. I think that's a really good knockout chance as well, Nico. It's I guess it's yet to really do anything at a big level off a really hot tempo. So I guess you're guessing a little bit, but still lightly raced. Walt, are you just going to take videos and pictures all day, or are you going to talk about
content I've got there? I'm tipping one in the Goodwood. Paulili. I think it'll back up well off the race last week and would have won this race. Why wouldn't it be in this race?
Because you got to take it from...
Mate, I had a look. I can't find a winner. Too hard for me.
It would have been a good race for it.
Well, it just surprises me that a few that were up there aren't down here because it's pretty weak. But anyway, missed opportunity.
All right. No, I think that's John's comment for the race. I don't think he's going to add anything more.
It is. I just don't. I think you're right. There's a lot of horses that haven't been trying leading up to it, but they're not horses that I want to find to win a Goodwood. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It looks an absolute lottery to me, and I think you're on the right path back in something at 80s.
And Nico's found one too. Yeah, Manhattan Times. So fish around some roughies if you like one. Now it's time to talk Doomben, where we've got Tommy Turbo from MacBet to join us. How are you, Turbo?
Yeah, good. Just listen to Nico come off the long run-up in the Goodwood. It's going to be a hard act to follow.
And he's running the hat and the Canterbury shirt this week. He's a man of all trades. He's a man of all... What's Canterbury? Sort of a bit more like a rugby union sort of feel about it. So he runs NFL. He runs everything. He's a man of the people.
Canterbury was it's a 90s brand, wasn't it? It used to be big in the 90s when I was a teenager or high school or so. Everyone wore Canterbury stuff.
I don't know where you went to school, but anyway, no worries.
Albury?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. That's about Tommy's level.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
Mate, we've had a big day here so far. I'm writing down all the words that Scoots used so far. Snicked, choppy, snagged. I'm looking to add a few more shorties in here. I'm going to be taking a good look at what you've got to say. Yeah, action.
Anyway, we're going to talk about Doomben. Any thoughts about last? We've already spoken a little bit about Eagle Farm. Any horses that caught your eye, or any comment that you'd like to make about the track or anything there?
Oh, well, when the rain started and just did not stop throughout the day, I knew my bets were probably in a bit of trouble. Started off on a soft 5, but the track ended up being like a soft 7 by the end of the day. Seeing Marzu in the yard, there's not much of him. So it'll be very interesting to see him measure up to those A-grade sprinters, I think, later in the year. If they do get dry tracks in Sydney, which I guess is a low possibility of happening, but he is a prototype wet tracker for mine. And they were still kind of happy to take him on late there in the Doomben 10,000, but he certainly did live up to the hype somewhat, securing those 2 Everest slots.
I was kicking myself. I had a quaddie because I was trying to get some of the favourites beat in the Derby, and a horse that jumped off the page in the last, and I didn't do the race properly until late in the day, and I guess as the wetter it got was the horse from the Lees Yard Acquitted, just set up beautifully late.
Didn't it go like a rocket?
Went like a rocket, and you could
Either they were completely legless or it went like a rocket. Either way, it went like a rocket.
It was crazy, wasn't it? And that was all that I found late. What did you think? I'm surprised that you didn't find it.
Is this a little trumpet? What's going on here?
Well, no, I was actually.
I didn't look at the race.
Filthy because I left it out of my quaddie and then I sort of saved on it late, and I just like, how did I not find this earlier?
So you found it, but you didn't put it in the quaddie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I tried to go skinny in the last.
So you're giving yourself a trumpet for a late fine saver.
I'm just dirty on the whole situation.
Okay.
And I was surprised that you didn't find it.
I never even looked at the race. I found it the day after when I watched the replay. Yeah.
Oh, Monday morning.
When I watched the replay. Yeah. It dead set, missed the kick, pulled its ass off, ran up their asses and just pulled around them and went away from them. It wasn't good signs for the rest of them.
It was the power of Sam Clipperton there on Saturday. He rode 3 winners up in Brisbane. He must be a superstar down in Sydney.
TC was telling me I think he was like 19 Group 1 seconds before he'd ridden a winner.
Wow.
So he would have been sweating up at the 200 when Marzu was under the pump trying to fight him off. But no, it was good to see. He has actually been riding a lot better. And normally I think I did tweet to say that and said, I apologise in advance for the car crash coming, that it'll be the end of his career. But he's certainly, this season he's kicked on from pretty mediocre last year. So good on him.
Yeah, it was funny with Marzo. I saw a funny tweet. I think it was Chris Winter. I think he calls himself Ruffy King, and he can find a big price winner bloke on Twitter. And he said that if Marzu wins, I'm officially dead. And he was obviously
set against it.
Well, yeah, and I think a lot of people did.
Okay, yeah, the price, absolutely. What did it get to, Tommy?
Oh, it started about 380, 390, I think. Like, they really come from on Trivier, who was a really good runner. I suppose it's hard to miss.
Looked like a barrier trial.
Yeah, I think they're going straight into the Stradbroke, so looks a good chance there. And Isotope was pretty firm late. It obviously missed the start and just ended up last. And Kamantari was the other one who was really well supported, but he just didn't even show up.
That's enough of the review mirror, but let's have a look at Doomben on Saturday. And the first race you're going to kick off here is the Stradbroke Calcutta benchmark 78. It could be a good event to go to. 1600 metre race. This the catcher's favourite. Michael Costa yard $2.45. Fast Talking $5.50. Seduction Queen $6.50. Jack the Lad $8.50. Ostermeyer is $9.50 and Montez $15. Turbo Seduction Queen. We're gonna have a look at it last start about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Midfield. It's in the white with the purple or lilac heart. Tell us why you like it.
This is an ex-Sydney horse, so I'll probably know a little bit about it, but I just think it finds a really weak race here. It comes out of a pretty strong Class 3. I know Paladas come out of this race who I was tipping last week, but he didn't, he was come fourth last week, Paladas, but he wasn't really suited in the conditions, but kind of against the favourite here in the catch. It comes off at an Ipswich Monday race where they went pretty hard in front and he came out to the right part of the track. I know it was a dominant win, but he didn't really have to get past much. He started off this preparation in a provincial Gold Coast race in the best part of the track as well. And to take $2.40 here, coming to the Metros for the first time at a benchmark 78, I'm kind of happy to be against it at price, kind of at that $2.50 mark. I think Seduction Queen is the one with the turn of foot. I know it's coming up from 1,200 metres to the mile, which isn't ideal, but this stable, O'Day Hoisted, they're really good trainers and they'll have it fit enough to run a race here. I can just see it sitting in that third or fourth pair, one off the fence, and it doesn't really have to get past much in the lead. I think Montez will probably go straight to the front. It'll be getting weak legs towards the end. Snowfire will be probably sitting outside it, and its wet track form leaves a lot to be desired. And other than that, it's a pretty weak race. So I think Seduction Queen around that $6.50, $6 mark and $2 a hole is good shopping.
I think Tabor got their foot on it. They don't have a price up, but
it's a weird one, huh?
All the other bookies have, or Tommy's just absolutely jammed it. Jammed the
tab. They've just turned it off.
Scrote.
No more.
That's what DK calls them. The scrote.
Scrote. Put that on the list.
Scrote.
Yeah, that adds
Scrote.
Snicked, choppy.
Prototype.
Snag,
We've got that's a new one in there. Yeah. Prototype. Yeah. No. Don't like Fast Talking as a horse.
Oh, I do like it as a horse. I just think it's got a sticky gait here. And look, he was my second pick, to be honest, Fast Talking. I'm just not sure where he gets to, whether he has to take a sit behind Seduction Queen or kind of work to find the lead. The mile start at Doomben, you're straight onto the bend, so it can be sticky to be drawn wide.
I'm assuming they'll jam it. Now fourth up. Had a good run. It sat outside the lead the other day, wasn't it? It went like a rocket. But
yep, they went slow in front and just sprinted away from them.
Yeah, I just say that couple of those horses come up to DVD, and he's doing a pretty good job with them. This bloke always looked like he sort of had city ability in Sydney, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got jammed and gave your I think I sort of thought the same as you, that the Catch was the one that was the right horse to oppose.
Lay of the day.
Well, you never lay Costa. That's one rule I learned very early. Never lay Curry, never lay Costa.
No, you're not going to have to worry about him soon anyway. Doomben Cup is the next one I'm going to have a look at. Zaki, $1.50 here, in from $1.55. Polygray, $8. Hooter is $10. Kukaracha, $12. Great House, $15. Coventina Bay is $21. Maximal, $26. The Chosen One, $26. Esty Fenny, $51. And Colding, $51. Still going around. I thought Zaki was kidding to him the other day. I think it looked like a bit of a barrier trial. I got sucked in. I took the $12 or $11 about Polygray late, but let's have a look at him dash home in the Hollandale. I think, but it just looks to me that he may have just won this on sheer ability, and he was just there for a bit of a look around. They might have backed off him.
Yeah, I think he was a month between runs or a couple of weeks between runs, and then he had to travel up here, and they were just saying, the camp was saying that he was really fresh. After that, obviously this was worse than a heavy 10 on this day. Don't want to get Walt fired up about official track times and whatnot. That was his little... He had a bit of a blow-up during the week at Scone. Not sure if you boys have spoken about that on the show thus far, but
I had about 9 of them this week. Which one?
do you reckon you're making any ground there?
Nah,
any traction with it?
Sort of, now I'm just chipping away. They got one right the other day somewhere. I nearly died.
Who are you talking to when you talk about that?
Myself.
I think you are.
Well, and everyone goes, oh, well, is there an edge of this or that? Yeah, well, it's not really the point, is it? Like, okay, we're probably equipped more than anyone 100% to pick up on it early as anyone, but it's just, what's stopping someone to send a track manager out and go, okay, well, we've had a look at the straight. It's slow, like Port Macquarie the other day. It was dead set of 3 around the back and a 12 in the straight. Sure, the manager knows that. Why not make it public? Ran over. Heavy 10, go on.
How are we going to make money out of this race?
Well, I think Polygray, the place, is a good bet here, kind of at the $2 mark. Just kind of looking at the setup of a lot of horses in this race, I'm not a big fan of. Maximal, it's had 70 days off avoiding wet tracks, and they put the blinkers on over 2,000 metres in a high-pressure race. Not sure about that. Great House, I think they might have one eye on the Premier's Cup next week over 2,400. I thought it went okay there at Gosford. It kind of hit a flat spot after 34 days between runs. But I'm not sure about its heavy track credentials. I think there's a lot of rain forecast in the afternoon there at Doomben on Saturday. So heavy track for him is not ideal. Huetor would have preferred a dry surface for it. Not sure who Esty Fenny is. I think it ran 5th or 6th in a Wagga Cup or something like that. Chosen One's 42 days off back from a pretty cast Sydney Cup. And Polygray's just a wet tracker in form, and I really liked its run behind Zaki. It didn't shirk the task. Went past Kukaracha, who I think was completely suited on a track like that. So Polygray the place with Walt's man, the Smurf TC on board.
He's actually confused here. He was booked for Great House, and then Waller upgraded him to Polygray. So I've actually put it in there at the $1.04. They must be going to scratch it, because very rarely does the TC sort of ride for that stable, and for them to put him on the more favoured runner was a bit of a funny one. But I do agree with you on form. That does look the clear pick over Great House. Like you wouldn't be complaining about getting switched between the two. I do think Hueta's a very good horse.
Very good horse.
Very good horse. Yeah, on the up too.
I saw it in the yard at the Gold Coast. Nice horse. But I think it's going to be a lot better suited on a dry track, Huetor. So probably something, not this race, but maybe 2-3 weeks' time, get into Eagle Farm on a big track as well. I think it can sprout wings.
What about if they put it up an 8 on Saturday, but it's really a 4? Do we chime into Hueta then?
Oh, Look, mate, I think it's pretty wet. They've had 120 mils during the week. I'd be surprised if it's a dry track.
That's all right. That's okay.
Well, he thought it was going to be a dry track last week, so you don't believe a word he said.
He's bet up on the dry track last week at 400 mil.
Fuck, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, some of the camels that I backed at big odds last week are still going.
Do you reckon the fence was off or not?
At Eagle Farm?
Yeah.
I think it was a difficult spot to be rails and run.
And you just had to be from the one stable to make ground up the inside there. They all come out with their flippers on, the old the Team Waller. Political debate and Paternal, was it, or something?
Yeah, Paternal. Yeah, it was a weird looking horse, that Paternal, and it was amazing to see what it did in that race. Weird looking horses, weird looking runs. Anyway, we'll find out soon enough.
Are you still there, Nico, or have you gone home?
I'm just listening. I'm just being a fan of the show right now. Turbo's got some he's got some MF to deal with there on Saturday. Buffalo River, Barbreda, sort of all coming up.
By the sounds of it, he doesn't even look at him, mate. He doesn't even look at him. He just whatever. Whatever.
Pen jobs.
I will say I'll give Turbo a little yard tip. Buffalo River had I thought a bit of improvement to come out of his first up run, and he ran very well behind Regards Marie. So I'd be looking him to even improve off what he did there first up in Melbourne.
Where's DK?
Cast. We've got the flu. We've got the sniffle. The kids have got the sniffle. Daddy daycare. You won't have to worry about that for another 15 years.
What really happened? Mug wasn't coming on, so DK didn't come on.
Wait, so we don't have a Mug's moral this week either?
No, Scooty's moral.
We're all cast.
You'll have to watch the show. I'm not telling you. You'll have to. You'll have to go back and watch the show. Fast forward on the YouTube.
Is it at Eagle Farm, but?
No, it's not. No,
well, the races are at Doomben, mate, so that's a bit of an issue.
Oh, jeez.
Macbet.com.au. Stay ahead of the pack. That's where you can get more of Tommy Turbo's action. He's there every Saturday. If you see him at the races, he'll buy you a beer. He's got plenty.
He has got plenty. I know
He's
that.
Got plenty.
Yeah.
All right. Goodbye.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, Turbo. All right. If you want to take your form to the next level, make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. It's the ultimate comparison tool. Class benchmarks, sectionals. Without punting form, you can't find the grouse lays, and you can't. It's harder to disseminate all these classes when horses are merging form lines. So make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. It's a godsend for moi, and Nico loves it too. Johnny, we're going to have a look at a couple of races at Rosehill. The first one is race 6. It's the Fujitsu General Benchmark 78 over 1,800 metres.
So this is my race. You haven't got the mystery races, not this one. This is my race.
We're going to do that first. And Dynasties is the favourite here. This is a weird one. It was at the Gold Coast. Now it's gone back to Sydney, $2.70. The Snowden Yard, Daiquiri is $8.50. Oceanic Flash, $10. Hollywood North, $11. Travelling Kate is $12. $13 Dream Runner. Perfect Radiance, $13. And that's the replay we're going to have a look at. Here it is in front, making it all in the grey, black and red.
So they've gone 100 mile an hour there. The horse that sat outside it sort of already dropped off. And I just like that this horse found a kick. It was certainly much better to be 5, 6, 7 off in the straight. And it does sort of kind of work out there, but it's cast by that time. They ran good time here. I don't mind this horse Solar Apex in a race later in the day, and Elusive Jules in as well on Saturday. I'd expect those first two to run well, and I just thought he was a bit of a hidden run going back to Rosehill. I know we're probably going to run into some wet again. I think it's like a 7 or an 8 at the moment, which will probably get back to a 5, and then depends on how much rain we get sort of Friday, Saturday, which is predicted again. So hopefully not too much for this horse, because the more on pace it is, the better. It's one of the few races where it looks like it should get a pretty leisurely time up front on the day, and sort of $14 seemed okay. That horse Dynasty's obviously won a nice lead-up race up in Brisbane. I agree with you. It's a bit of weird placement back down here. I wish it drew awkward. It draws soft, so it'll probably get its chance again, but it didn't, like, it wasn't a classic race that it won the other day. Now it sort of takes on the older horses, and just thought it was worth, betting around a little bit at that sort of price. And there's another horse that came out of that Gosford meeting. I don't know if it was in that race. It might have been actually in Rebel Rama.
Yep.
Who
$14.
is drawn awkward. If it drew soft, I would have been keen to back it quite confidently each way. Its run first up was incredible, and it's got some form back in its career that's just better than these horses. It's a pretty talented horse just from 9 second up with the apprentice. It's going to need a bit of luck, but I'm $14 or whatever it is more than fair to take the gamble, and you might get a little bit better if the teams take it on.
Ellen Hennessy, can she ride?
She's a hit or miss, but she's definitely value at the 3 kilos, especially on certain horses. She seems to, if she gets on with the horse, she gets on with the horse. Does that make sense? No, she has a good affiliation with a few horses that really run for her. So she's not unbackable by any means.
And King on yours?
Well, it's the right sort of horse for her, just to roll forward and bowl and rather it go a length quick than a length slow, and that's what she's really good at.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. All right. The curveball I've got for you is race 7, the Lord Mayor's Cup. Bethencourt, $4.20. Irish Sequel, $4.60. Hopeful, $5.50. Elise, $6.
You know who's in this race?
Maroney, $15. The front man, $15. Rock, $16. Esty Mirren, $19. So you win, $26. And Papolino and Takamuchi are both at $34. This is what happens when you hand your homework in late, Walt.
Oh, my God.
Now you got to figure out who's going to win the camel race over 2,000 metres.
God, well, Bethencourt has dead set been handed its last 2 wins, and this is a very different sort of assignment. Jay goes on over 2,000. He'll probably run well again, and the way he's going, I don't want to oppose him too heavily. Horses that are likely to improve are sort of few and far between in this race. So it's the 2 Waller horses in Alias and Irish Sequel that both come out of the Wagga Cup and are both right on the up of the 2 that I'd want to find. But what were the prices? What were the 2 prices for the Waller horses, Alias and Irish Sequel? They'd be about $5, I'm assuming.
$4.60 Sequel, Alias $6.
Yeah, so I don't think there's too many surprises here. You've obviously found something, have you? Is this your race, or is this just a race we're
Nico, have you had a look at the race?
I had a brief look at it. A horse I actually have a bit of time for is Alias. I thought his run 2 starts ago was very good, and then last start I thought he was good as well. So he looks like he's got a bit of progression. Right sort of stage of preparation you want to be finding Waller once they're getting fit and deeper into their prep. So look, sort of $6. I thought you could maybe make a case he should be shorter, but
he's got to start favourite, hasn't it? It has to start favourite. Gate 3.
Given he beat the other one home.
It was probably a run shy at Wagga, if anything, and like it was a good win. Irish Sequel drawn inside. It's got Tommy, I assume, but I'd rather be on Alias over it, and I think it's shorter in the market, so I agree with you. I think it's definitely the one that should shorten.
And I'd have to try and get Chad into some form here, but this might be the right horse for him.
Yep. Chad. He rode a couple of winners. Where at? Somewhere. Melbourne, was it? The other day he rode a couple of winners somewhere.
Definitely
He's back,
not Melbourne.
Chad. He's back.
He went down. I think he went down to
Warrnambool.
He went down to Warrnambool. I don't think he rode a winner though.
He rode a couple of winners somewhere the other day. Must have been memorable. Probably Hawkesbury.
Scone, was it? I don't know where it was.
Might have been Scone.
I don't know. It's your story,
mate. It all just rolls into one. Every day's the same.
Whether you just
track conditions, 20 horses, benchmark 58s. Did you see? I think I wrote in the thing today. There's 33 races today. It's like 15 maidens, 8 benchmark 58s, 5 class 1 and maiden or class 1s or something. There's like 33 races on, and 30 of them are class 1s or worse.
It's Thursday.
Why do they need to be on?
Well, there's a lot of people that want to buy horses. It's a very popular pastime.
But there's a lot of people want to sell horses. I'm certain about that. There's a lot of people want to sell horses.
Dear.
Well, he rode this thing to win at Wagga, and then he rode a first and a second at Gosford. He had a win at Warwick Farm. So maybe he's back.
He's back.
That's punting.
Pretty hard to muck this horse up from 3.
Just click on the jockey and you go through the last 50 runs so you can see how good they're going. That's punting.
Career is going at 9%, and these last 50 is going at 10%. So that's positive.
One who a stat popped up there yesterday, which I was a bit concerned about, was not concerned about, but at one stable that I love is the old Mark Noonan stable, very consistent, and they're having a little run of outs, and a few of their horses aren't hitting the line, so it is good to keep up with those stats. When you confidence level wise, if you find a lot of these stables where you sort of take for granted they're going to run well, it's always good to check their last 50 out. It does have a big difference on my confidence levels anyway.
Would you buy a horse from Mark Newman?
Would I send a horse to Mark Newman? I wouldn't buy one that he's had, no. I don't think you can get too much more out of him than Mark does, but I'd send him a horse.
Yeah, right. All right, outstanding stuff. If you want more of Walt's action, racingwatch.com.au. It's a good community in there. The Discord chat, they'll probably be talking about the golf a lot this week. The US PGA Championship is up and rolling, so if you want to check out our podcast, you can do that, or jump into Racing Watch if you want all of Johnny's provincial, country, metro stuff, and you can hear him whinge about poor...
The biggest topic this week in there is who's going to appear in the last episode of Neighbours. I think that's sort of been the most popular. So
isn't it Kylie Minogue?
Oh mate, this is just I can't release too much. You'd have to get in the Discord for that. You'd have to be in the Discord.
Are they betting on it?
They are.
Are they still betting on it?
Back up.
Is it back up? Wow, I'm gonna have to have a little bit of a look and see.
There's another word.
All right, now it's time for Scooty's moral. It's not as exciting as having Mark and I haven't pre-recorded any video. I just had a quick dig around at the form and
Nico, if we can't find something to beat this, mate, we should give it away.
Okay, the race I'm going to have a look at here, and we'll put the market up on the screen. Bit of flair because it's my segment now. This is the R.A. Lee Stakes. We've got Dallasan 330, Exaledia 480.
Oh, here we go.
He's gone to a mile race in Adelaide. This will do me. Yeah.
Soci Bond 650, Cherito Tony 750, Jernipel $8, Belpulsar 14, Struck by 21, Royal Mile DK's horse 26, Canamona Cristo 41, and 50s the rest. I'm going to jump into bed with my old man Dallasan.
He's the boyfriend.
And in sort of similar...
You've just been waiting for him to be 9-4 in a race somewhere so you can replace the mug.
Just bzz, yeah. So he may drift, but I think he flies off a freshen 6 week between runs here. Not suited on the heavies last 4 starts. He got within 3 lengths of winning a Doncaster. And I think he's only carrying 55 kilos against this lot. And I think this is absolute luxury. So off the heavy to Adelaide, back to his home deck. If they put this horse into the race... It'll be lights out, Bryce Hayes style. I think they might take it on at $3.30. It's coming off a heap of high SPs, but I think 55 kilos against this lot, I'm happy to play. I'd take $3 or north, and I'd probably just keep backing him if he drifts.
It's hard to knock, given he is the best horse in the race, but the knock would be, I know when his last win was. Do you know when his last win was, Scoot?
Well, I know when he ran second.
Was it his last 50?
The Doncaster a couple of years ago, but and then I think I tipped him at 50s that day, and it ran second.
Jesus! Get the trumpets out again.
Yeah, well, I tipped on the show, and I bet up the place, and it was heartache for me. I don't know when his last one was, but
he's now 5. I reckon his last win came in the Danehill Stakes when he was 3. I reckon that's his last win, or he might have won the Carbine the same spring, but that's a good 2 years ago, nearly 3 now.
But he's racing in much bigger company, so I don't really like. He's racing in Group 1 races against horses like Think It Over, Forbidden Love, Zaki, State of Rest. That's Scott's Plate, Private Eye, Ada BB, Cascadian, Very Elegant, Arcadia Queen. If you put him against the 600 metre field at Adelaide, like this is the weakest race he's probably come up against in probably 8 runs, and that was the last time he ran in a listed race was over 1200 unsuited.
It has a bit of Mug's moral about it. Just find the best horse in the race. So look, you've done that. Sophie Bond's flying. Exalita's absolutely flying as well. You get J Carr. I'll take Exalita.
Okay, so with this dinner date bet that I have to owe you money.
We have another bet, are we?
Well, I don't know. Does my moral? Is it Dallasan has to win and yours has to win, or are you having Exalita to beat home Dallasan in this one?
Maybe I should get 2 licks at the ice cream.
I think so.
I'm tipping you will. All right. Which other horse can have 2? You can have Exalita and something else to beat Dallasan home for your dinner date voucher.
A couple of my boyfriends at the top: Cherry Tortoni, Junipal.
Run me through the ride on Cherry Tortoni last start. Is it the one that just went to the front?
Nah, different horse.
Different horse?
There's a couple, Cafe Tortoni and
Tortoni.
You might be getting confused.
I'll take Cherry Tortoni and Exalita.
Cherry Tortoni and Exalita to beat home Dallasan for a meal voucher for date night. I can't wait. Do you want to chime in? Into this?
No, I don't. I don't. I'm not going to a mile at Adelaide. Like I'm going bad, but that would be admitting that I'd defeat.
Righto, so that's Scooty's moral. Mug hopefully will be back. He's got the flu, so hopefully he's getting some chicken soup and he's resting up. heaven forbid what he's eating when he's crook and he's got the flu. But hopefully he bounces back, and I don't have to do the segment next week. It'll go a lot shorter than what we've just done there.
Can we get his address so that people can send him care packages? Or
I think I've got it.
yeah, I think we should post that.
Bass Hill. He's somewhere in Bass Hill.
The mug care of buddy Bass Hill. Bass Hill. Care of.
I'm tipping they'll find him.
Yeah.
Works for the Australia Post.
It's only got to go to the post office. That's right. Yeah.
Well, we know this bloke. Matt Rose. TopSport Big Bets. Rosehill Race 3, number 3. Phillipsburg, $340 at $13.
Dangerous stable, dangerous horse.
Who's got it?
The Ponsonby, ex-trot driver. Difficult race, that one. Don't know why it's in that race, to be honest. I'd be very surprised if it won.
Rangi Toa, French Bonnet.
Actually, I think French Bonnet will bounce back there. Elusive Jewel came out of that Solar Apex race. I think they're the main two. But, backing on the inside, his horses are scary. He's another stable you do not lay.
And the next one is up in Brisbane, and it's race 6, number 15, Bullfinch, $250 at $21. Feels like we just lay Waller horses, or TopSport lay Waller horses early all the time up in Doomben.
There are a few of them around.
But it seems just like clockwork. It's just like, all right, Waller. And I think it was like Cucaracha a couple of starts back, or one of those horses in the white and blue that hit the line. So maybe
Larry Cassidy, gate 15.
Yeah, that's scared the living daylights out of me.
Yeah. And it's a pretty deep race too. They're going to go hard. Maybe it gets back and finishes off. It's a scary looking race.
I didn't like the look of that. And then the other one is Miss Hipster in race 9. So that's race 9, number 12, Miss Hipster, $350 at $14. This is a horse that Johnny McLeod has got a lot of time for, and I think Dragonstone has been going to be scratched from that race.
You would assume so. I'm tipping it's not going around from 16 up there.
Yeah, I think I've heard that. So Rubiquitous and Zavaboom.
Larry Cassidy double the Steamers. Larry Cassidy double.
A bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, that race, I have no clue. I'm not even going to pretend.
Kelly Schweider, interesting. He chooses very interesting jockeys, and by interesting, I mean average. I don't know how he finds some of the jockeys that he puts.
Kelly, good fella.
Is he good? Good bloke.
Good fella.
Good bloke, is he?
Good fella.
I can't wait to have a beer with him one time.
Yes, good fella. Oh, he's a good fella.
Yeah, right. Exciting. All right, I think that's the show done and dusted. It's been a beauty. I've missed DK personally.
Well, we got the FUCKs up with Tommy there late, so we got a lot of. He sort of played the DK role much better than I ever could have.
One at odds. Nico, good luck. Hope you kill them on and off the track this week.
Hopefully,
mate. You just get to planning, son. 500 you got to spend. Just get to planning.
Oh, the mighty Dallasan. He's just going to win from the wilderness. Finally gets a week race, and hopefully
that's a few credits at the drive-ins, the 500. Maybe I'll just sort of roll it out.
For 500, Top Gun comes out next week. You could nearly get the whole gold class cinema, surely.
Apparently, there's a bit of a tip for Top Gun.
Well, how could it be no good, mate?
Hey?
I've only seen the first one 3,000 times, so I'll be there. I'll be there on opening day.
How often do you go to the movies?
I used to watch more, not as much anymore.
You do funny old-fashioned things, don't you? You collect cards, you go to the movies, you 10-pin bowl.
It's called a midlife crisis, yeah. It's called a midlife crisis. I'm well and truly. That's why I got rid of the beard, mate, because I had to look in the mirror and it's white. I nearly died. I felt like I was looking at my old man.
Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, cheers.